You know what feels luxurious to me these days? Not designer handbags and not first class flights, although that would be nice. And not a five-star resort, an empty grocery store, fresh sheets, a canceled appointment. Finding out something I was about to buy anyway is actually on sale. A rainy afternoon with absolutely nowhere to be. My cat curled up beside me while I watch a favorite show. Or waking up in the morning and realizing I don't actually have to do anything today. Honestly, that might be my version of winning the lottery. Somewhere along the way, the tiny things quietly became the big things. When we were younger, I think a lot of us imagined happiness would arrive with fireworks. We thought we'd know we made it when we were successful or admired or busy or constantly doing exciting things. We chased promotions and we bought bigger houses. We filled our calendars and collected more stuff. And maybe, just maybe, we thought happiness was always waiting around the next corner. But something funny happens as we get older. We stop looking for fireworks and we start appreciating candles or night lights. The loud excitement becomes less important and the quiet comforts become priceless. Take fresh sheets. Can we just acknowledge how wonderful fresh sheets are? When you're 25, clean sheets are just a pain in the neck because that means laundry. But when you're 60, getting into a freshly made bed after a full day feels like checking into a luxury hotel. The pillows are fluffed, everything smells clean. You slide under the blankets and immediately think, oh yes, this was absolutely worth the effort. Another luxury, having nowhere to be. There was a time when I thought being busy meant I was important and needed. If every minute of the day wasn't scheduled, I felt guilty. And now an empty calendar feels like a reward. No rushing, no appointments, no errands that absolutely must be done today. No makeup if I don't feel like wearing it. Maybe I'll read and maybe I'll clean and maybe I'll do absolutely nothing. And somehow doing nothing has become one of my favorite activities. I also never realized how much I'd come to appreciate getting home early. There was a time I'd stay out late without giving it a second thought. And now, if I can finish what I need to do before the traffic gets bad and get home while it's still light outside, lock the door, change into comfortable clothes, and officially declare myself unavailable to the world, that's an excellent day. There's something deeply satisfying about hearing the door shut behind you and thinking, I'm home. And I don't have to go anywhere else. Pure luxury. Then there's the humble refrigerator, not because it's filled with gourmet food, just because it's stocked. Cream for my coffee, fresh fruit, a few snacks, eggs, butter, flour. If I've got eggs, butter, and flour, I'm set for days. I could make pancakes, cookies, muffins. I have made pancakes in the middle of the night more than once, simply because I can. There's something comforting about knowing you're prepared, especially after years of stretching budgets and feeding families or wondering how everything was going to get paid for. Having enough feels so rich. And speaking of comfort, can we talk about chairs? At some point, we all became surprisingly passionate about lumbar support. I no longer understand restaurants with beautiful wooden chairs that feel like medieval punishment devices. I mean, who approved this? We're paying for dinner. Why are we suffering? Give me a nice chair with proper back support, and I'm prepared to stay for dessert and maybe even another drink. And then there's quiet, not loneliness and not isolation, but peace. There was a season of life where the house was constantly noisy. Kids, television, phones, people needing things. And now I love quiet mornings and quiet evenings and quiet days. The sound of birds outside and rain tapping against the windows. A fan humming gently while I read. I used to think a full life had to be a fairly loud one, and I don't believe that anymore. Sometimes the most beautiful moments are almost silent. Another thing I've come to appreciate is simply having enough. Not endless wealth, just enough. Enough to buy groceries without worrying, enough for a little treat now and then, enough to heat the house and cool it, and enough to sleep at night without constant financial panic. When you're younger, enough doesn't always feel exciting, but after decades of responsibility, enough feels incredibly luxurious. Canceled plans have sometimes become one of life's unexpected gifts. Now, I should clarify, not plans I was excited about. I'm talking about those appointments you agreed to because you thought you probably should. The ones that get removed from the calendar because somebody had to reschedule. And suddenly you've been handed back 2 or 3 free hours. It's like the universe quietly slipped you a little present. Oh, here you go. You can stay home instead. Thank you. I accept. One of the greatest luxuries, though, is finding people you can completely relax around. People you don't have to impress, people who don't care if your hair isn't perfect or even freshly washed, people who know your stories and people who don't expect you to entertain them. Some of my favorite afternoons are the simplest ones, stopping by my sister's, having a cup of tea, talking about absolutely everything and absolutely nothing. No performance, no pressure, just comfort. Relationships like that become more precious every day. And finally, I've fallen in love with doing things slowly. I spent decades multitasking, cooking while answering phones and cleaning while thinking about work, driving while mentally planning tomorrow. Everything felt urgent, and now I enjoy drinking my coffee slowly and browsing through a bookstore without checking the time, walking without trying to hit 10,000 steps before lunch, or even putting groceries away while listening to music somehow feels nice. Who knew? Life becomes surprisingly enjoyable when everything isn't treated like a race. It's funny how our definition of living the dream changes. When we're younger, luxury means having more, and as we get older, luxury means needing less. But finally, learning to notice the tiny little blessings that were there all along, I think that's one of the greatest luxuries of all. What do you think? Has your version of living the dream changed? What are your tiny luxuries? Thank you for spending this time with me. I appreciate you all so much. Until next time, take care.